Let's talk about creating science wonder stories. Together we will review what a science wonder story is, see examples, and learn why and how they're useful. A wonder story is a science story created to provide a context to new science content. The wonder story is typically read as one of the first steps of the science task analysis. So, at the beginning of the lesson, the teacher may read the story to students. Students should have a copy of the story or be able to read along, or on a whiteboard, overhead projector, or maybe even a smartboard. A wonder story is a great way to link a state standard to the student's world, the world around them. The wonder story generates a purpose for solving the science experiment and may also provide students with some background information. Sometimes the wonder story will link information to a student or students have already learned in other science contexts. This will give all students an even playing ground to begin the science lesson. Let's look at a sample story now. This is an example of a wonder story created for a chemistry science lesson on the physical properties of matter. Do you see how the story is adapted with picture symbols paired with key vocabulary? You can use various different computer software programs to adapt the text, such as BoardMaker, Writing with Symbols, SimWriter, or free clip art from the internet. It's a good idea to think about embedding new science vocabulary in the story, paired with the picture symbols. The final part of a wonder story should include a question. This story will serve as the anticipatory set of the lesson, allowing students to begin to wonder and prompt everyone to find out. Let's begin writing a story together. Here's an example standard in Earth Science from the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. To teach this standard, a student or a teacher may write a lesson on phases of the moon. Let's think about what we know about the moon and what information our students may be familiar with. To start my wonder story, I would probably want to make sure that the students are familiar with what the moon is and where to find it, and possibly address any misconceptions that they may already have. Now that we've kind of talked through this standard, let's look at a wonder story for this standard that was created. Let's read the wonder story together. The night sky. After dinner, I take a warm bath and Mom says, "Put on your PJs." I go to my room and I look out the window. There are a lot of stars in the sky, and the night is dark. But tonight, the night sky is brighter than it was last night. I see something big, round, and white in the night sky. I know it must be the moon. I reach out my window and try to touch it. I can't reach it. It must be very far away. The moon looks very different than the other nights. Other nights I see a moon that looks like a bright white banana in the sky. Are both of these things the moon? Some nights I see something in the sky that looks like a plate cut in half. Tonight I see a big white circle. Are all those things the moon? I'm not sure. I wonder if it is a kite, or a planet, or a plate in the sky. I wonder, did the moon change shapes? I ask myself, does the moon change shape? Did you notice how the story is written to review concepts that the student may or may not already know? Such as, is the moon is the object that I see in the night sky? The story is set in a familiar context to most students, bedtime, and may strike a student's interest by talking about something that they have seen or done before. They may have seen a different looking moon each night. It is possible that students could even prepare for this story by asking them to look at the moon for several nights before the lesson is even taught. Finally, the story ends with a question. The question can be written to be used later in the story in the lesson as the what will you want to learn. Later we'll talk about a KWHL chart, but this would be the W in the KWHL chart. Once the teacher reads the story with the students, it's a good idea to ask students to text point to the wonder question, read aloud, or activate a voice output device to read the question when asked, which would be, does the moon change shape? Now let's return to the module and learn more about the other steps of the science task analysis.